Hey everybody, Paul here. I hope you are all doing well today. Today I am visiting the Great Basin National Park, and it is pretty dead here for about lunchtime, but that could be for a couple of reasons. One is this is one of the least visited national parks in the United States, and two, we are currently in a government shutdown. So a lot of your amenities like the visitor center where I'm at is currently closed. I believe the bathrooms are probably also closed. I haven't really checked those. So I think maybe a lot of people aren't coming out and visiting the national park today or national parks in general. Just a few miles from the visitor center, and I think this is technically just outside of the national park, is the Baker Archaeological Site. And this site is the remnants of an ancient Indigenous People's village. So there was an Indigenous town here. It was a farming town, and it predates, the European Mormon settlers who came to this area and settled the area. And kind of right behind me here, you can kind of see that is the remnants of one of the structures here that would have been in this village. And this little area, you can see there are quite a few of these rectangle and squares where various structures would have sat. There's one off over here to the side as well. And in this area, archaeologists have found pieces of pottery and other tools that they would have used to survive these harsh conditions. Even though this is just outside of the national park, I thought this was just kind of a cool spot to come out and give a quick look over. Now I wanted to verify before I said anything, but according to the plaque, this area of Nevada, we're just right on the Nevada-Utah state line, was part of the Fremont culture. So a lot of the indigenous people that came from this area, this would have been one of their ancestors' villages. And we are about ready to enter Great Basin National Park. Look at that view. Absolutely stunning. We are at the Mather Overlook. We are about 9,000 feet. You can see we got some of those fall colors down there. Just simply breathtaking. But this tire formation behind me was formed by ancient glaciers that carved out the entire mountainside, depositing rocks and everything all down as it moved and melted and all that fun jazz. And at one time it extended all the way down to the lower campground. All right, so we are at Wheeler Overlook, which is at about 10,000 feet, which give us a better look at the mountains. And you can see the snow, I think maybe even glaciers up there. And that about does it for the overlooks here. There wasn't a whole lot, but I did find a trail I think I want to hike, but it's getting late in the day, so that's probably going to be tomorrow's adventure. So in the meantime, we need to find a place to camp, and I'm thinking I'm going to go back to where I camped last night. Hopefully my spot's still open. Well, I got my spot back from yesterday. I actually, it's kind of funny because I actually set up camp here yesterday. I got my table and everything all set up, had my chair out, and I was planning to stay here for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 nights. And then this morning I woke up and I'm cold, and I'm like, it's going to be even colder tomorrow morning. Do I really want to stay here? So I decided to pack everything up and headed down to the national park this afternoon. And then now that I found that hike I want to do, I'm like, well, I guess I can go back and set back up. The thing is, it is going to be colder tomorrow morning than what it was this morning, but it's supposed to actually warm up more tomorrow. And then I think by Wednesday, Wednesday or Thursday, it's supposed to be back in the 70s. Today is Monday. And then Friday, some rain moves in and it gets cold again. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that hike tomorrow, which I'm going to obviously be bringing you guys on. And then maybe I'll just come back here and spend another night or two and then head out. Honestly, what I really need to do is spend a couple of days in one spot. I think I said in my last video how I was hurting for power. I'm really not doing that much better. I got my one jacker up to 70%, and it's now back down to around 30%. My other one's sitting at 25%. I really just need to cool my jets, stay parked for a few days, and get some solar. The other thing is, after my last video, we had a lot of rain and everything moving through the area where I was at and a lot of cloud coverage, so I didn't even get power or solar for the couple days after that. So I really need to so maybe I should just sit here and hang out till like Thursday, or maybe leave out Friday morning when the weather turns, and get that solar built back up. And then I also have a lot of videos to edit. I have, counting this video I'm recording now, 3 videos I'll need to work on. So I have my work cut out for me. As far as campsites go, it's really nice. I got this nice fire ring, got the picnic table, got this little barbecue grill. Privacy-wise, not the most private. There is a spot next to me that's fairly private, but I do like the view I get from the site. And the best thing is, this is a free campground. They have 10 sites here. They have, I believe, 7 sites down at the lower part of the campground. And then they have 4 sites up here. So it's 6 sites down below and 4 sites up here, I believe. When I got here yesterday, there was a couple next to me. And then the fifth wheel, the people in the fifth wheel showed up about the same time I did. Let's see if I can spin you around. I don't want to make you too dizzy, but... Yeah, so that fifth wheel there, they showed up at the same time I did, and I made sure I wasn't going to take their spot because they said they're going to be here for like a week, and I was planning on here for a couple of days. And then I decided, no, I'm going to take off, and then I said, no, I'm going to come back. So long story short, ooh, that sun is bright. My plans are never very solid, and they're always changing, which is, I guess, a bonus of being a nomad. Let me get that sun out of here. But especially for me, because I might have an idea of where I want to go, and then the weather changes, or maybe my mood changes. That's happened before too, like where I'm just like, I don't really feel like going there, or maybe, oh, this weather's really nice, so I'm going to stick around, or hey, the weather's getting cold, I'm going to jet. Yeah, never know with me. But if you want to know how I find my free campsites, I use an app called iOverlander. I'll put a link down in the description below. It's used by a lot of nomads. There's other stuff out there. I think campmodium.net. It's a website you can go to. I personally don't like it because I don't think the user interface is all that easy. I think there's another one called Dirt or something like that you can use. There used to be one called Free Roam, but I don't think that one's used anymore. But I like iOverlander. I find the user interface pretty easy. I like the old legacy version, but unfortunately they had to update some stuff, so now they got a new app out. The new app is, you do got to pay for like the full stuff, but they do have a free version, and I'm using the free version. It has ads now, so that's kind of a bummer, and there's other few things that's different about it. Like instead of just being able to view everything, you have to download certain regions or states, and if you're in the United States. So that does make things a little bit more challenging, but overall I still like that app over the other options. And then also the app will kind of show you places where you can shower and do laundry. It'll kind of show you places where there might be free Wi-Fi and things like that. So there is a lot of other useful things on that app. And I know Campmodium or whatever it is, they also have all that. But like I said, I don't like their user interface, and that's online. So you have to have internet access to get to the website. Where iOverlander, as long as I got my region downloaded that I need, I can view it offline. But I'm gonna get reset up here and make some dinner, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Well, good morning, everybody. It was a cold start at camp this morning, but we finally made it. We are on the trail up to Alpine Lakes. So this is the trail I'm going to be doing. It's about a 3-mile hike. It takes us to Stella and Teresa Lake. These lakes are the remnants of a bygone era. They were created by the last glaciers that were here in the national park. So pretty cool. And now you see why I really wanted to come up here and do this hike. They had some pictures there at the trailhead and it just looks absolutely beautiful. And I knew I couldn't pass it up. Also, I'm probably going to be taking this hike fairly easily because we are at 10,000 feet. So they do warn about elevation sickness. I do have this GPS tracker that I keep with me and I take with me on hikes. Basically how it works is every 15 minutes it pings a satellite with my GPS coordinates, and then in the event of an emergency there is an SOS button I can push, and that will send my GPS coordinates to my 2 emergency contacts as well as the nearest emergency facilities. So better safe than sorry. You got some snow here. There's a little stream there too. We are at 10,000 feet, so it's not surprising we're seeing some snow. My last video I'd made a comment that I got some new shoes for my van. Well, my van wasn't the only thing that got some new shoes. Check out those bad boys. I picked those up when I was in the Salt Lake City area visiting some friends. I was able to meet with everybody I wanted to except for one person. They unfortunately got sick while I was there, so we couldn't meet up. I was taking a look at the picture I took of the trail map, I guess you can call it, of the hike we're doing, and it's got about a 600 feet elevation gain, which isn't too bad, but that does mean we're going probably about 10,500 feet, and I can definitely tell I'm at 10,000 feet. I've been working most of the summer at 6,000 feet, which took a while to get used to, but I got another 4,000 feet on top of that, which means the air is thinner here. But man, this weather is perfect. Like, it's just the right temperature. I'm not cold. I'm not sweating. I'm just like, it's just like perfect. I don't know if I've ever have hiked in weather where it's just like perfect. I'm not too hot and I'm not too cold. I don't know if that's got to do with the elevation, but it's kind of nice not sweating and just feeling all So yeah, it's a beautiful day and such a beautiful place. I don't know why this national park isn't visited more than what it is. Maybe it's because it's out in the middle of nowhere, but definitely I think it's gonna be definitely one of my favorites, just for its beauty and the lack of people. I've only seen a few people on the trail. The parking lot was busy, but they must all be doing another hike. So, alrighty, folks, made it to the first lake. I forget which one this is called, but it's absolutely beautiful here. Well, I think I spoke too soon. It was, I don't say busy at the lake, but there was a good 3 or 4 groups when I got there. I had to hang out for about 15 minutes for them to leave, and then I was able to do a little bit of recording before another couple of groups showed up. I could have probably hung out there for a while, but at that point I was already there for about 15-20 minutes and I was ready to move on. So yeah, we're back on the trail and heading to the second lake. Alrighty, so I made it to the second lake, and I think I like the first lake a little bit better. This one's definitely a lot smaller, and it doesn't have quite the best view unless maybe you got on the other side. But I do believe this is the second alpine lake. It might just be low with it being so late in the season. Maybe in the spring when all the snow melt comes down. There is a stream right there. It looks like it probably leads up to the mountains. But the first lake was definitely, I think, my favorite. Nothing against this one. It's still nice and serene in its own right. At least it's not as busy as the other one was. But it's such a beautiful day for a hike. Alrighty guys, so I actually made it back to the intersection here. That is the way I went up towards the sign that says a glacial landscape. And then I came down from where it says time is different here. I probably would start going that way and then coming around and ending where I started, just because it puts you at the nicest lake last. So you can check out the first one, or check out the second one that I checked out first, and then check out the first one I saw last, and maybe just spend more time there and pack a lunch. And yeah, that's honestly, I think what I would do if I ever came out here next time, is I would definitely take this path up and loop around. I wasn't quite for sure which way to go. Like I said, this was all new to me, so I just picked a direction and went with it. But it's actually a pretty good hike. It said it was 3 miles, but honestly it felt shorter than that. The elevation you definitely want to keep an eye on. When I first started, I noticed I was getting a headache, so I was stopping and taking a lot of breaks. I think the 15-20 minute break I took at the first lake definitely helped a lot. I had a little bit of a headache going from there to the second lake, but after resting at the second lake for about 5 minutes and then continuing on, I haven't had a headache since. So I don't know if that's due to the elevation. I did have a headache last night, but I don't know if those two are related or not. So yeah, I don't know if it's related to that headache or if it's the elevation. But yeah, it was definitely a beautiful little hike, and I think I am now going to head back to camp. And I'd also just add that maybe doing this hike in like spring or early summer might be a good idea too. Just because the lakes would be filled with the snow melt, so they might be a little bit fuller, and it just might make more of a beautiful and serene area to check out. I mean, it's still beautiful even here in early October, but maybe doing it after the snow melts and they just kind of get filled up with that might be just, you know, a little bit better of a scenery for you all. Well, I made it back to camp, and I got my solar set up. I found out yesterday if I put that one on the roof, I have a little bit more charging capability, because I don't have to worry about that tree casting shade a whole lot. But I stopped in Baker there, the little town outside of the national park, and there's a cute little general store. I was able to get myself a sticker for this trip, and then a couple of postcards. In fact, I asked the lady about this chair. I'm like, what's up with the chair? And she's like, oh, I actually took both those photos. The chair is actually there at the general store, and you can sit in it, and it kind of just started off as this little thing. She was taking pictures of this orange chair in different areas, being like, you could be here. And then she kind of started taking it to like trailheads and things like that. So it was kind of cool that I got to meet the person who took both of these photos for the postcard that I'll be sending to family, and I'll now have a little bit of a story to share along with it. But I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. I'm going to call this it for my adventures here in the Great Basin National Park area. I'm probably going to head out tomorrow, and so that will start a whole new adventure. So I will see you all in the next video. Till then, y'all take care.